saw there's another league that's going to be starting up, the GFL, and there's a wide array of names, very familiar names, a lot of names who have fought in the UFC that are there, and people are reacting in certain ways. A lot of really old retired fighters that are trying to get back in there and make, I mean, that's just basically what it is. But what was your reaction to not only this new league starting? I know it's been teased for a couple of years, but we're actually seeing some of the roster. What did you think?
I actually don't know anything about it. I say this all the time. I welcome everybody. You know, listen, there's no barrier to entry to get into this sport. And, you know, I hear a lot of people saying that we don't do this right, we don't do that right. Come on in, everybody. Dive in.
Yeah, so some of the names mentioned: Tyron Woodley, Fabricio Verdum, Anthony Pettis, Junior Dos Santos, Luke Rockhold, Frank Mir, Arlovsky, Benson Henderson, Vanderlei Silva, Gegard Mousasi, and the list goes on and on. There's a lot of names like that, especially seeing like Vanderlei's name on there. It's probably the one that sticks out the most. What do you think when you hear that name as a guy who potentially could be fighting?
Fascinating. I'll believe it when I see it.
But how do you think he would fare in your weight class?
To be honest, I think he would knock out a lot of people. Okay. He is very good. I think he is very good. But in my defense, I think I would finish him because I'm not a striker, I'm a grappler. And if I get his back, I can finish him 100%. But if you try to strike against him, he is a solid striker. The fight against Max Holloway was just incredible. The guy is good. But to be honest too, I think he's very small for the division. I don't know. I think he should stay on the 45.
Maybe that's the move. You win and you say, hey, Ilya, you want to come up? Let me welcome you to 155.
Easy money. I'm going to show you 155.
Dustin Poirier said he's been teasing one last fight, his last dance, and recently he was on Twitter and he said basically that he's got something cooking and that quote unquote there will be blood. Have you guys planned something for Dustin? You have to like reveal obviously.
No, we're in the middle of talks for him with something that he wants to do for the end of his career.
If I drop down, I'm king, and I never give up.
Don't drop.
Strong, bro, strong. Keep it up. 4.
Nice.
Hey, 5, some sides. Smash it.
Easy.
Fucking look at that. 1. Atlantic, bro. 2. Yes. 3. 2 more. 2 more. 4. Hey.
Jon, let me first start by saying Jon is absolutely elite, and I completely agree with the notion that he's one of the best fighters ever.
Is he the greatest?
Potentially, but the way that I look at it is he has failed a couple of drug tests. To me, that rules you out of being the best of all time.
Really?
For me personally, yeah, I think.
Does it make him a cheat?
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah. If you're on steroids or whatever, I don't think he was on steroids, but he was on PEDs, performance enhancing drugs. If you're on PEDs and your opponent isn't, that's absolutely cheating in my book, unless you're both allowed to do it.
You've never taken anything like
Absolutely not.
that? You never would?
When I retire, I will, yeah. absolutely, to keep my body healthy, and your body stops producing testosterone after a while. To be a healthy older gentleman, I'll probably do some kind of testosterone replacement.
You're suggesting I should be pumping
I think
steroids?
So. No, I don't think you should be on steroids, but I think I don't know a lot about the subject, to be honest. But I think when you fight in MMA, you absolutely shouldn't be using PEDs. No.
So should he even be allowed to fight you?
Yeah, if he's not using them now, yeah, I think so. Yeah, absolutely.
How do you think he'll feel when he sees you calling him a cheat on Uncensored?
I don't know. That's his
Do you
prerogative.
care?
No, I'm not bothered. Jon Jones seems to get his feelings hurt a little bit.
I'm the next one against Pantoja. So Dana, put me fight against Pantoja.
There,
Yeah, we had
and you
a
said,
nice
hey,
conversation tonight.
Yeah, he's like, you were like, yo, I'll meet you in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Did you get to talk to him? And if so, how was that conversation?
How do you know what we were talking about? That's fascinating. Yeah. He said, I this, that, that. I said, well, let's finish this one first. You got 5 more minutes. So, and he went out and he did it.
Is he getting the next title shot at flyweight, you think?
No, he's not getting a title shot, but we'll definitely give him what he's looking for.
What keeps athletes fighting? Is it you're trying to prove something? Is it that you have nothing else going on in your life and you're bored? I would love to sit down with Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo, why did you come back to fight? You were successful champion in WC, successful champion in the UFC. You made millions of dollars. Why did you come back? Were you bored? I would like to see more athletes. Just because you're in the gym and you can still hang with the younger generation, I don't know if that's enough to keep you fighting at the highest level. Why not? Why not go out on the high note instead of I'm still trying to make it work, da 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 da. And for me, I looked my black ass in itself in the mirror and I was like, what you fighting for, dog? And then I was like, I don't fucking know. I was like, all right, we out. Bye.
Jones versus Aspinall, is that sort of the big priority, and you think that's the biggest fight the promotion can put on in 2025?
100%. And I think it's probably the biggest fight in heavyweight history, and it's a massive fight in the history of the company too. It's a big fight.
Yeah, we know Tom Aspinall's down. Jones is kind of on the fence, or at least that's what he said publicly.
Right.
Have you talked?
It's weird.
How confident?
What's weird about that? Let me tell you what's weird about that. So usually, those guys say that behind the scenes and not publicly. Jon says that publicly, but not behind the scenes. Jon is a very unique individual to deal with. From day one, I've been confident that Jon Jones would do that fight, right? I mean, even before the fight, I said if he won, there's no way Jon doesn't do this fight. Jon Jones isn't afraid to fight anybody, and that's a fact. And the only time that anything remotely weird has ever happened with Jon Jones was the time that his fucking camp did the weird Chael Sonnen thing. We can't fight Chael Sonnen on short notice. Other than that, and that wasn't him, it was his team, and he listened to his team for whatever reason. But that's the goofiest fucking move in the history of the UFC. But other than that, Jon Jones behind the scene is not a guy that turns down fights.
Would you guarantee 100% we see that fight?
Yeah, I'll say 100%.
You've done a hell of a lousy job. I'm sorry, you're fired. Get out of here. Right?
right up. That wasn't even close.
Your face. I broke.
You didn't break
your
my face. I got
face.
right up and protested it
Look
right
at
away.
me.
That was a
Look
fake
at me.
stoppage, fake
I
ref,
broke
fake
your
fight. Wait till I see you
face.
next time. You're dead. You're dead.
Am
We
I?
got unfinished business.
Really?
You better show up.